Welcome back, everybody, to the Objective Slant. My name is Michael Aaron Lloyd, and it is December 2019. I hope y'all are ready for what I've got in store today. Not a lot, but still some things that you gotta get out there into the open. And it's gonna be a great time today. We're happy to have y'all along for the ride. And I've got to say, first things first, condolences, I guess, to Kamala Harris's presidential campaign. Yep, it has ended. It has ended just about a little bit of a month after Beto's ended. And I gotta say, it's a crazy time to think. We all thought for a little while that Kamala would, get herself ahead in, the trio that leads out in front right now. And I think in most people's eyes, that's the trio that leads out front in Biden, Warren, and Sanders. But she just didn't gain enough traction. First off, and second off, I think the most important thing of her campaign ending, which was mismanagement of funds, the way her campaign went, things just did not go well as far as the funds goes and stuff like that. That was really the most important thing about that. Of course, there were some other things that they're kind of wishy-washy at the same time, but again, it's all over. Maybe she could be, the VP of the vice president of, somebody, if push comes to shove or not, who knows? But time will tell as far as that goes. I'm pretty sure she's got a plan for the future as we get prepared for 2020 and we get prepared for these elections and stuff like that. And it's gonna be an interesting time as people are falling and dropping out of the race like flies. And we'll see what the main trio can do of Biden, Warren, and Sanders. We'll see what they can do, and we'll see what the others can do as well. Lots of Biden quotes have been taken out of context over the past couple weeks, gotta say. They were either taken out of context or it was just a bizarre quote by Joe Biden. But I mean, it is what it is. You can't really say much about Joe Biden right now. I don't know where he's at in this race. I feel like he's losing a little bit of traction. I feel like Sanders and Warren are gaining a little bit more in the whole state of things. So it is what it is. Kamala Harris is now done. Not sure how many Democratic primary candidates are left in the race, but aside from the main three that I mentioned, doesn't really matter as we get prepared for the Iowa primaries and stuff like that, and all the other states, all the other big states that are going to be on the ballot very, very shortly, November 2020. Speaking of 2020, we're getting closer and closer each and every day to a new decade, and I gotta say, it's been a fun time over the past, 10 years. We've seen a lot. A lot of things have happened, and we just gotta keep on moving forward. There's been a lot of good, been a lot of bad, but just gotta keep on moving forward. Gotta keep on, just moving with the flow, going with the times. Times are changing, things are changing, and you never know when the next time you could be called a dotard, if that makes any sense. But speaking of that, Donald Trump, of course, we talked about him plenty of times on this show, and I've got to say, the fact that Kim Jong-un would just call him that, and other like big major type, people in governments across the world would just kind of, ridicule him at the same time. It's actually kind of hilarious, but also not hilarious at the same time. I mean, it may be just fact at this point. It may be just not fact, but we don't know what's going on in the mind of Donald Trump right now. We don't know. We don't know unless, we get to see him. And I hardly see anything about Trump these days, aside from the impeachment hearings, so, which are still going on, by the way. As I've said a couple times, it was hard to cover that and, keep a sense of mind to where, hey, this is quality stuff right here. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of moments to where it's like, that's pretty interesting right there. And at the same time, it's like, it's a long process that is going to continue. I don't know how long it's going to continue, but it'll continue for a long time, at least until the elections come up. But yeah, that was the main thing I had. So we'll just spend, I don't know, the next 10, 15, 20 minutes or so just talking about the show as a whole. Gotta say, it has been fun this year, all throughout 2019, to be on your television sets, your smartphones, laptops, I don't know if you have a VCR, but if you have a VCR, do you know what a VCR is? You could be like, I don't know, just like, have a little tape recorder and, you play my show. What if my show gets like pulled off of YouTube or something like that, or pulled off the airwaves or something like that? It could be something like that. I don't know, but it's been a fun ride this year. Had a lot of great interviews, especially once like March and April and May. I want to say I can't remember exactly because it's been a long time since I've seen those. And since most of you have seen those, but I think the turning point this year was the interview I did in March, and it really set me off, in a passionate fury to crank out more of these shows, crank out more of my thoughts about things to you all, and it's. I gotta say, I love it, love every second of it, but talking about that March interview one more time, potentially for, this year and maybe even next year too, who knows. I gotta say that was probably the most interesting interview I think I've ever done. Yeah, we've had some fun ones, we've had some fun ones over the course of the year, but that one right there was the most interesting, and let me tell you the story about that. So it was February or somewhere around that time, and Steven Crowder came to campus, and it was kind of a big thing, kind of not a big thing, but it was cold. It was like 40, 50 degrees outside. I had my whatchamacallits, my mittens, my I don't know what they're called, but had, all my winter attire on and everything like that. And a guy comes straight out of nowhere and starts interrupting, what was going on. And then Steven Crowder comes on over to the place where the guy was standing, and he talks to him for a couple minutes, and there's a whole video about that. It has millions of views and stuff like that. And then next thing I know, it's like I went on to Reddit a couple days later, and I was asking around, seeing, what in the world, hey, I wonder if I could get somebody to interview. And it turns out, somebody did answer the call. It was an email, seemingly anonymous because it was like John Doe or something like that. I can't remember. I delete a bunch of emails as soon as I get them, as soon as I receive them, as soon as I reply to them, stuff like that. I get the email, it's John Doe, and I'm like, okay, all right. And so we talked back and forth for about a week or so, and we keep our correspondence together and stuff. And next thing you know, a couple weeks later, I come into this room, and I'm very surprised to see the same guy that Steven Crowder confronted, and he's just like sitting there, and then we talked for a little bit. And then we, get all up here and we did this interview, and of course we did have to edit it a little bit because I guess he was just like, about something, but I don't know if he actually gave his name or not. I don't think we featured his name on the broadcast because it was a little bit confusing, and it was about socialism, that whole thing that I've been trying to get onto the show for the longest time, and then I finally got it at that point. I finally got a talking point about it, and stuff like that, because it took me a long time to get somebody, on the show about it, because I originally had, for the very first show, all the way back in September 2018, which was a long time ago to some people, had a guest lined up for that show, and it just didn't work out like it does sometimes. People have lives and they have things they need to do, and it just didn't work out that day, all the way back in September 2018. But it worked out that day in March, and it worked out so well. To where people were at least a couple thousand were watching the program. I'm not sure, but the YouTube numbers say it was a couple thousand, or at least 1,000 people were watching the program, and it was a great time. Sure, all the dislikes were disagreements about socialism, but it is what it is. Again. Yeah, that was probably the most, that's the story of the most interesting interview I think I've ever did. Of course, we had some fun ones. I believe there was one in August, or I don't remember exactly, but the one I did for the 1 year anniversary show back in September was interesting in and of itself, gotta say. And that was a fun interview, that was also pretty fun trying to get an interview in and reflect on the show as a whole, what has happened over that first year of broadcasting, stuff like that. And we had a transition period. It was September, and our new guy back there, his name's Joey. I've mentioned his name a couple times on the broadcast. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. And so we had this transition period where, Joey takes over for, like the production stuff of like, the stuff that I can't do, all the video and audio type stuff that I can't do, all the way back there. And it's been a fun ride. I've enjoyed working with him, and I will continue to enjoy working with him for who knows how long. I don't know how long I'm going to be here in Denton, but it's going to be a fun time either way. Man, yeah, such a fun time, you gotta say. But it is what it is at this point. It's. And I know I'm kind of just repeating myself at certain points, but it just is what it is. And this show has meant a lot to me, and it's been one of the most interesting rides that I've ever been on. 2019, what a year it has been. I was all happy, hunky-dory at the beginning of the year, and now it's like, okay, it's time for a new year. It is time to reinvent myself. It is time to reinvent my personality, reinvent the work ethic, the production, the all that good stuff. and all the bad stuff too. You got to reinvent yourself, got to find your way into 2020. You got to be positive about it. You know, it has been a wild, wild ride for me, and you know, it's always going to be a fun, wild ride. You never know what happens. And to you, 2019 may have been a roller coaster of emotions that, you know, has dropped off the deep end. Or maybe it's been, you know, continuous good times of love and peace. It has been things like that that keep you uplifted and keep you, you know, on the straight and narrow path to another year of positivity and gloriousness, you know. And I know that's a big mouthful right there, but everything happens for a reason. And if you don't believe that, then what's the point, you know? You know, you gotta have your chin up high, and you know, you just gotta embrace the moment that you are in, and that 2020 will be here, and it will be here for you to conquer. You have to conquer the rest of this year, of course. You have to get through it, but if you conquer 2020 and you get in and you go with the positive, upbeat outlook on things, you can make it. You can do it. You can beat, you know, you can beat all the miscellaneous things that you could beat. You could beat student debt. You could beat those insurance bills. You could beat those car payments. You could beat those medical bills. You could do all of this. You know, it doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter that people doubt you, or you know, they think of you as unworthy. You are gonna go out. You are gonna do it. You are gonna make it. I believe in you, and lots of other people believe in you as well. You can do it. And I know I am going to take the message that I've said today and take it to heart and try to improve myself, try to improve this program, and try to get more people on the show, because it's always fun to interview somebody. It's always fun to, you know, get another voice out there that isn't my own, see, you know, what other people are saying. And so, you know, with that all being said, it has been a wonderful time, and I will see you in 2020 with more Objective Slant. So with that, happy Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa. I don't know the exact phrase, and Merry Christmas. Be well, celebrate. You made it. You're almost done with 2019. With that being said, everybody, once again, my name is Michael Lloyd, signing out, seeing you all in 2020. Peace.